Higher-end standalone powered wireless speakers are somewhat misunderstood. These are different from portable Bluetooth speakers, most notably in that they don't have built-in rechargeable batteries. And while all of them have Bluetooth, they're designed to deliver high-res audio via Wi-Fi or even better, Ethernet connection to your home network. Since they'll have a power cord and hopefully an Ethernet cable connected to them, they're not completely physically wireless, but once you've got them up and running, you control them wirelessly with your phone or tablet and with better sound quality and stability than you'll get with Bluetooth speakers. For example, you can take calls and dictate stuff to your phone without interrupting the music. They've got built-in amplification that is tailored to whatever speaker driver array any given model uses. They're not a substitute for a high-end two-channel system. They're kind of a throwback to the golden age of table radios, but with modern wireless features and audio technology giving them exceptional connectivity and sonic excellence. They're great in places where you can't or for whatever reason don't want to have a pair of speakers plus maybe an amp or receiver and a source. A place where aesthetics matter. Bedrooms, offices, kitchens, dens, apartments, you name it. You can get high-end wireless speakers with a range of wired inputs. Some even have turntable inputs, and I know of at least one with a built-in CD player. Some have an HDMI ARC input to work like a premium soundbar for your TV or projector. But the main attraction for most people is the wireless features. As I mentioned, most of them have Bluetooth, all of them have Wi-Fi and Ethernet internet connectivity, they all have control apps, some of which have great music search and control options, and others you'll more likely use just for setup and configuration. And you can use most any streaming music service, whether you do it by entering your credentials into your wireless speaker's control app, or use Apple AirPlay 2, which is built into all these models, or choose your speaker in Tidal Connect or Spotify Connect options. Most of them work with Roon or have another way for you to access music you keep on network-attached storage drives. You should dig into the specs and be sure you'll be able to easily access whatever music source you mostly use. And if you want some help figuring that out, please get in touch with one of our advisors. All these speakers have an emphasis on aesthetic style, on how they look. Some of them have more traditional right-angled shapes, others are more ergonomic and sculptural. We know that sound quality is probably the most important thing for most of our customers, and all these speakers sound excellent, but in this case, you can and should feel good about letting your eyes help your decision. Let's get into the picks. Coolest looking, Bowers & Wilkins Zeppelin Pro. The Bowers & Wilkins Zeppelin Pro's elongated elliptical shape is both eye-catching and acoustically optimized to minimize distortion and enhance clarity. The speaker's aluminum body and seamless fabric grille give it a sculptural presence. In fact, when I had one of these at home for testing, my wife fell in love with it before she even heard it. Inside, it's got 240 watts of amplification and 5 precision-engineered drivers that can deliver rich, room-filling sound. It supports AirPlay 2, Bluetooth, and Spotify Connect, so it's easy to stream from pretty much any device. If you want a speaker that sounds great and looks like a piece of art, the Zeppelin Pro is a conversation-starting choice. Most unique, the Devialet Phantom Ultimate 108 dB. This one impressed our video team when they took a deep dive into both the 108 dB model as well as its smaller sibling, the 98 dB. You can check out our video to hear what our reviewer thought after spending some time with these in his home. The short version is, it's great. Get 2 if you can. The name refers to the maximum sound pressure level. I got to spend a little time with the 108 dB at home, and I'll just say that it costs considerably more than most of the models in this list, and I'm happy to say it has correspondingly impressive sound quality. I sometimes wonder how far Devialet's designers had their tongues in their cheeks when they developed the speaker's sensual form, which extends to the unboxing. Where most of these speakers are packaged with an inner protective bag, this one comes in tight-fitting spandex undergarmentry. It was easy to set up and has really commanding sound and look. With all the speakers in this list, you might find yourself looking at it while listening to it and thinking to yourself, wow, how is it making such big, beautiful sound? With the Phantom Ultimate, you get that to the max. I listened to Andy Pratt's Avenging Annie and heard really clear detail and super substantial bass. The crunchy bass part in the song moves around a lot, and the speaker really brought that to life. Transients were extremely focused and tightly controlled. This one is truly unique and a pleasure to listen to. It's a statement piece, and if you can get 1 or 2 of them, you can command listener engagement every time you crack it up. Best for high-res multi-room music, Bluesound PULSE 2i. This one is also one of the most affordable speakers on this list. While it's not quite the statement piece that some of the others are, you get a lot for your money, and the design is true to its parent company NAD's streamlined approach to high-fidelity audio. Understated looks with audiophile sound. This speaker has 150 watts of power driving 2 large woofers and 2 tweeters, so stereo imaging comes naturally. You can also pair 2 Pulse 2Is in stereo, or you can plant them around your house and sync them together or control them separately. Bluesound is one of the most powerful and refined wireless multi-room music systems, and there's a bunch of choices for components with the Blue OS operating system built in, from speakers like this one to high-end separates from NAD. Best all around, the KEF LS50 Wireless II. This system stands out in this list because it's a stereo pair. There are surprisingly few choices in this category of powered stereo speakers with Wi-Fi, and 3 of them are made by KEF. If your sound system centers around a TV, this setup can absolutely outperform most soundbars. KEF's unique look is built around the UniQ driver array with the tweeter mounted concentrically to the 5¼ woofer. The LS50 Wireless II has been very popular with our customers, with reviews that praise its clean, lifelike, and room-filling sound and cool modern looks. They come in a few different colors, so you can choose whichever would look best with your decor. Our customer reviews also talk about the easy setup, and that was my experience when I tested the system's larger sibling, the LS60 Wireless II floor standers. For a true high-fidelity stereo system, the LS50 Wireless II is about as uncluttered as you can get. Each cabinet houses a biamped 280 watts to the woofer and 100 watts to the tweeter for lifelike detail with a wide dispersion pattern that gives you great sound as you move around the listening space. You can even pair the 2 speakers wirelessly, so all each one needs is a power outlet. But if you want to get the full, high-res, 24-bit, 192 kHz decoding, you should connect them with the included RJ45 cable. And even though these can play pretty low frequencies and fill a medium to large room with sound, you can also pick up a powered subwoofer for a very sweet and surprisingly huge sounding system. Best bang for your buck, the Cambridge Evo One. This one has an elegant industrial look and a remarkable 700 watts of amplification, 50 watts to each of its 14 drivers, for an effortless, high-fidelity soundstage. I auditioned one of these at home and was picking out harmonic overtones in Julian Bream's classical guitar and shimmering ambience on Julie London's 1966 album For the Night People. The Evo One's hefty 32-pound construction uses high-quality aluminum and beautiful, sustainable walnut wood. It also has a nice full-color display and integrated front panel control that lets you navigate any music you might have on storage drives on your network or connected to the Evo One via its USB-A input. The Stream Magic app is one of the better control apps out there, and in my personal experience, using it with Qobuz on the Evo One was a seamless experience. You could absolutely use this as a soundbar via its HDMI eARC input. It even has a phono input for a turntable plus a second analog input. It's very user-friendly for music lovers, and with the extensive control you get right on the front panel, it also invites listeners to poke around and discover new music, which is always a great thing. Most elegant, Sonus Faber Omnia. This Italian company's name translated means handcrafted sound. They focus on using natural materials like the real wood top on the Omnia to make speakers that harmonize with your decor and are generally pleasant to interact with. That was my experience when I set it up at home for some listening. Setup was quick and trouble-free, and I was streaming via AirPlay in minutes. The sound is warm and fluid with plenty of detail. It's got 490 watts amplifying 7 drivers plus built-in DSP that helps it project a wide, lifelike soundstage. The bass you get with its 6.5-inch downward-firing woofer is nicely smooth and rich, something that turned my head when I played the Jerry Garcia Band's Cats Under the Stars. It also has an input for a turntable and an HDMI ARC input for great TV sound. So, easy setup, great sound, and stylish look, with top wood laid in a walnut chevron pattern that comes in natural or black. And in that top, it has capacitive touch controls that are strips of light in the top for an elegant modern interface. It's the kind of piece that wants to be looked at, touched, and listened to. The most McIntosh, the McIntosh RS250 wireless loudspeaker system. It's kind of a joke, but it's also serious given McIntosh's over 7 decades of refining their amplifiers and the overall McIntosh sound and look. This one earns great reviews from our customers for its fantastic sound, which one guy said fills the room with pure excitement. I had the privilege to test one of these at home for a couple of weeks when it first came out and think that's a pretty good way of putting it. With 8 drivers and 650 watts, the RS250's sound hits you in a visceral, substantial way. 3-way design with designated tweeters, mid-range drivers, and woofers help it deliver one of the more expansive sound stages I've heard in a standalone speaker system. And it's got a wired turntable input and an HDMI ARC input for TV sound. If you want classic McIntosh looks and build quality, with a pair of illuminated output meters and solid, heavy stance, and of course, brilliant, engaging sound, this is the one. Okay, That wraps up our list of the best high-end wireless speakers, but by no means is this the end of the discussion. If you want to learn more about these speakers or find out about more choices, get in touch with us here at Crutchfield.